Hello viewers, my name is Adam.
I'm Aaron.
This is Sticky Media Productions, bring you a new movie review.
So he is vengeance. He is the knight. He is the Batman.
And yes, the Batman is the latest iteration of the long-running franchise that is this time directed by Matt Reeves.
So it's been stated before, and I'm going to go ahead and reiterate this again. Matt Reeves understood the assignment.
Like, we've always wanted to address some of his work, but finally we were able to. And Matt Reeves is one of those directors.
You can just feel the love and labor of intensity that went into this particular film. It's just literally something that feels as though it just jumped right off the comic book pages. This was a ride, and I loved every second of it.
And not to be confused, if you don't know for certain, for casual viewers, the Batman is not part of the current DC extended universe.
No, this is not. This is actually a breakaway. It's its own specific thing.
Like Joker before.
Exactly. DC at this point, at least Warner Brothers in general, is playing around with the concept yet again of not having a completely connected universe. Instead, they're going to be making some films that may not necessarily follow the path that was already laid before with the Snyderverse, considering how well that worked out. So this is his own unique thing, and for the most part, it's okay.
For this film by itself, oh yes, this is a very entertaining movie in its own right, but it also drives home the fact that when it comes to the DC brand, whether you like it or not, their cushion is always that Batman franchise.
Yeah, people just love the Batman. It's just a whole thing. Yet again, I will say it. I do want to see more heroes given as much attention and love as this particular character has always been shown at Warner Brothers. But, you can't deny that when it comes to this particular character and when they want to make these particular films and movies or spin-offs, whatever they're doing with them, generally is done pretty well.
So, yes, what's the Batman all about? What makes this stand apart from its past versions? So, right off the bat, what we have here is a story that really does focus on the crime noir aesthetic, where it's telling a true detective's tale in the deep-seatedness of Gotham City.
Yeah, that's right. In this particular variation of the story, you're not seeing the detective the snooping and around on crime scenes in the background. No, this is straight, face forward, front and center. That is the drive of what's going to be shown to you in this film, and it is definitely a refreshing take compared to what you've seen in past iterations.
And what we have finally presented here is a mystery that unfolds, that minute by minute the plot moves forward as it not only progresses the story, but it deepens the history of Gotham and there's many acolytes that lives within this setting.
Yeah, every character, every stone, every building, every particular inch of Gotham, and those denizens or the Gothamites that live within it, have a part to play, and it is brilliantly realized in this adaptation.
And we jump into a year two story of the Batman's career.
Yeah, this is a variation on Batman where he's not necessarily a spring chicken, but he has not yet completely honed all of his skills and expertise. He's very much still trying to work out what it truly means to be the spirit of vengeance in Gotham, and also his place in high society and of Gotham in general.
Yes, and he has a lot to learn as what type of person he ultimately wants to be. But lucky enough or unlucky enough that this type of drive within this character is pushed to the edge. With appears to be Gotham's first supervillain in the continuity of this new universe in the introduction of the Riddler.
There you go. Yeah, this is. the Riddler has been done before, at least in live action, in a couple, iterations. You had first approximately done by Jim Carrey when he was in the Schumacher films.
And before that, the 1960s route, Gotham TV series, they had their own version of a proto Riddler.
But in this particular version, this character is helmed by the brilliant
Paul Dano.
Exactly.
Paul Dano, who's usually been in independent films, but more on the when we discuss characters. What we have this very long the mystery that's being unfolded, but that does not feel like it's 3 hours long length.
This film you would never have known if you. It sucks you in so well that I was on the edge of my seat and I was eating it all up. I wanted it not to end.
But up until that point, this is a film about escalation. Once the mystery unfolds, the action unfolds. It opens up, and like this is almost like it's a good compact story, but like for one of the very few criticisms that I will have to say, very minor, is that we do have some of the reveals that do come up to play. It is a lot like telling, but it's like there's so much stuff that they do visually as a storytelling front of itself that sure that some of the reveals at the end of the day comes out like if a lot of people are talking about them. Some of the big reveals even come from straight out the comic books, mind you. Like it's not that much of a hurdle, especially if you're new to the fray.
But of course, this film lives or dies on the characters that are involved, and the Batman showcases so much talent that is unbelievable what they were able to accomplish in this particular film, and you just have to watch it just to get the full appreciation of what was presented to you. And first and foremost, let's go ahead and start it out with this title character, the Batman / Bruce Wayne, played by Robert Pattinson.
The new actor to take on this role. Robert Pattinson as soon as we see him in the introduction, who's mostly the Batman in this entire film.
Oh yeah.
Very less so as his Bruce Wayne counterpart, embodies a force of nature.
He's very much, I would say, Robert Pattinson's portrayal of Bruce Wayne and the Batman, because this is a year two story. He has not yet learned to differentiate the two aspects of the persona, which in general ends up becoming a fractured variation of the personas in general. Is a very raw nerve that is directed at the sight of what his target is. He is very much a hunter on the prowl.
And so much of that is that you see a clear focus on his objective. We're going back to the fact that this is a detective story, and this is a Batman who you visually see does not take even the most minor things to light. Like something like once you see his movement is deliberative, it's very important. When you see his clear line of sight, like pay attention, because this is a Batman who will express what he's thinking through his actions. And amongst this rest of the cast, you have Selena Kyle, played by Zoe Kravitz.
Oh my gosh, she just killed it for me in this particular role. She is very much an individual that fully emphasizes what it means to be a Gothamite and trying to crawl and grasp everything you think you deserve and need in this city.
Yes, she's very much a person who knows the type of person she is and the environment that she's around. She's like Batman, a prowler in her own right. It's the first time we're seeing even more so a comic book's accurate depiction of the character Selena Kyle.
Definitely.
And this film has not yet taken upon the full known persona as Catwoman, but already the elements are there.
Very much so. Transitioning from those two, you have the brilliance that was done by Colin Farrell. I mean, talk about transformative. Again, I have to remind myself that he was cast in this role. This is a completely different person.
This is I'm really interested what they want to do with the stated Penguin spinoff of this film, but from his performance and what little screen time that he had, they're very important to the plot. But what we have is a Penguin, or Oswald Cobblepot, character who is very much you can sense history with this character.
Yeah.
And he already has some type of footing here in Gotham City, like many other characters.
Definitely. Transitioning from him, you have Commissioner.
Not yet
Commissioner.
Yet again, not yet. Played by Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright's Gordon definitely fits this world, and I had no doubts about Jeffrey Wright as an actor is definitely in trying to helm this particular character, because Jeffrey Wright, there's hardly any characters that Jeffrey Wright just can't pull off. He's just that brilliant.
Especially since he's like the type of actor where the phrase you find the right actor for the role, then you're totally halfway done with the writing of that character. And how they depict Gordon in this film is he's very much like Batman's partner.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. I feel as though this movie does a brilliant job emphasizing that Batman does not work alone. He definitely takes on partners when the needs arise. And he's fully capable of working in teams, which is why later on down the line in the comics, he does end up having partners. And this is going to be something really interesting going forward if this series continues on with that particular, parts of the mythos.
But like most ensembles and the superhero films, nothing's as good as the villain, because they make or break how the film sometimes is.
Paul Dano was chilling as Edward Nashton,
or whatever his last name is, because this version of the Riddler is completely original to an extent from other past iterations.
Yeah, it's not necessarily done for jokes or done for as a gimmicky aspect. No, this is a character that very much is a realized variation of a realistic attempt on what may exist in modern day times, as far as what these crazy megalomaniac characters might be from Gotham.
And it's not the fact that they don't take some of the core aspects of the Riddler from the comics. There are riddles to be solved. There are inspirations from past from even off sorts, like the Hush storyline in the comics, or the Arkham video games, where some of the what he does.
I think a lot of that was probably definitely realized in this film with the Saw aspects and stuff like that.
If there's some less parts in the character department, I will have to say Andy Serkis's Alfred Pennyworth needs more development.
Not to say that he wasn't, well cast for the scenes that he was in this film. In general, he definitely fits the vibe that they were trying to go with, and I definitely enjoyed the performance here. But there is so much still left on the table for him to do, to be dived up into. That as they go forward, please give us more.
Yes, and drive a little bit home on the show don't tell aspect. John Turturro, who's also a good actor, is very significant in the role that he's given. A lot of what he did apparently in the continuity of this film, they state such things, but not a lot is shown to really drive home the really significance of this character. The production design on how the city looks and how it behaves is something that is next level to in terms of filmmaking, but also adaptations wise. Greg Fraser, the cinematographer, likes back of the Dark Knight. His actions and the environments of Gotham City in the most hauntingly but yet effective dark lit scenarios. Most of this film is a lot of interior designs with a lot of practical sets involved. I would want to have seen a little bit more of Gotham in the daytime, which also would have reflected a little bit more on showcasing a little bit more Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne. Other aspects of production, clear the choreography of the film.
Oh yeah.
Like it's something that's very clear and direct.
You felt every punch, every kick, every adrenaline rush thrust of the cars, and oh my god, it was
the Batmobile chase alone is worth the admission.
It is.
And I think what really sells the atmosphere of this depiction of the Batman's mythology is Michael Giacchino's score.
And this is just on the top tier level of scores that was done for the Batman.
Like clear influences of what Danny Elfman did, sometimes what Shirley, from what the animated series have done.
But this is uniquely its own thing. You can feel this movie. The score alone drips vengeance. It drips dread, and you feel it in the boom of the score. It's so majestic.
And something that really, the main theme, which is the Batman's theme, this is the first time I'll say that the Batman's musical score gives him his own personality.
It gives me great joy to just go ahead and say that this is probably this is one of our favorites that came out from the DC roster, and has definitely earned an amazing score.
When it comes to the next level superhero storytelling, the Batman really is that.
This is what you want out of a comic adaptation. This is exactly why films like this get to make it to the silver screen. This was an art project fully realized, and it is deserving of your attention and your ticket.
My name is Adam.
And I'm Aaron.
This has been a CK Media Productions. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and look at our social media reviews from other content.
Guys, did you watch this film? Are you going to watch it? Did you buy your ticket already? We want to know. This is mind-blowing. Can't wait for more.
And yet again, please stay tuned for other great content.
See you guys later.